you feeling smart tonight? Want to fall asleep whilst maybe learning a little bit or putting your knowledge to the test? Well, you've come to the perfect place. That's right, everybody. In tonight's ASMR video, I am going to be asking you 100 general knowledge trivia questions to see how smart you really are. Questions will vary from any kind of category, from history to geography to science and nature to literature and arts. Everything will be asked. So if you're feeling up for the task, feel free to just close your eyes as you listen and play along to the questions to see how many you get right. Of course, as there are 100 questions, I would love to know how many you get right. So at the end of the video, if you did play along, why not comment how many below you managed to get right. Now, I've done a few of these general knowledge trivia videos before in the past, so I thought I'd switch it up tonight and make these questions a wide range of difficulty, some easy, some medium, some hard, and some just damn straight impossible. Because I'm sick of these comments of people saying, Dido, they're too easy, these quizzes, make them a little bit harder. So I've done just that, but I've one-upped it by making it available for everyone to play. So no matter what, hopefully you should get a few right, and maybe hopefully you get a few wrong. Anyways, I put a lot of work into this video, so if you do enjoy, I would really appreciate it if you considered leaving the video a big thumbs up, click the like button down below, and if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe. We are so close to 500k subscribers, and I would just love to have you be a part of those 500,000, so click that subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on the channel in the future. Anyways, without further ado, best of luck everyone, and I hope you find this video nice and relaxing. Let's get started with question 1, which is, what is the largest ocean on Earth? What is the largest ocean on Earth? reword this question. It's worded pretty poorly. How many players for one team can be on the field at maximum during a game of football? That's how it should be worded. The answer, if you've been watching the World Cup, hopefully you know, is 11. Reason I worded that is because there could be less if there's a red card, and also it's pronounced football, not soccer. And specified that it's one team. Question 11. What is the tallest mountain in Africa? What is the tallest mountain in Africa? Mount Kilimanjaro. Question 12. Which fruit contains its seeds on the outside? Which fruit contains its seeds on the outside? My stomach is making weird noises, sorry. It would be a strawberry. Who wrote the novel The Hobbit? Who wrote The Hobbit? The Hobbit. The answer is J.R.R. Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien. We had to read that in high school. I had to study it. Great book. Great. Question 14. Speaking of the World Cup, which country has won the most men's World Cups? Which country has won the most FIFA Men's World Cup? At the time of recording this, they're still in the World Cup. The answer... Brazil. Which chemical element has the symbol Ag? Which chemical element has the symbol Ag? Capital A. And then it is silver. Question number 16. What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? What is the hardest natural substance on Earth? Diamond. Question 17. Which famous clock tower houses Big Ben? Which country has the most islands in the world? This is correct. The answer, Sweden. I'm not gonna lie, I thought it was like Japan or Philippines. Maybe I'm very, very far off. Which famous scientist developed the laws of motion? Which famous scientist developed the laws of motion? Motion. You should know this one. It is Isaac Newton. Question 22, quite a fun one here. Which planet spins on its side? Which planet spins on its side? Uranus. Uranus spins on its side. I didn't know that actually. In chess, which piece can only move diagonally? In chess, which piece can only move diagonally? I was just playing chess actually. I'm on a winning streak right now, so I'm pretty happy, but I know after I say that I'm gonna go through and lose after this. Anyways, the answer is bishop. Would you guys like to see a chess video soon? Let me know. Question 24. Which country is home to the Machu Picchu? Question 29 actually sounds more like a fun fact. It's definitely one that I've probably read in a fact video before. Question 29 is, how many hearts does an octopus have? How many hearts does an octopus have? Not one, not two, but 3 hearts. Which famous ship carried the Pilgrims to America in 1620? Which famous ship carried the Pilgrims to America in 1620? That would be the Mayflower. Searching it up now. Question 31. Which vitamin or vitamin is mainly produced when your skin is exposed to sunlight? Which vitamin is mainly produced when your skin is exposed to sunlight? I actually haven't gone outside today. I need some of this vitamin. Do you know what the vitamin is? Vitamin D. Vitamin D. D for Dido. Question 32. Who directed Jaws? Who directed Jaws? Great movie, I must say, very classic and famous. It is indeed directed by Steven Spielberg. What is the longest river in Europe? What is the longest river in Europe? Excuse me. That river would be the Volga. Volga River. River Volga. Which board game features Baltic Avenue? Which board game features Baltic Avenue? Might be quite an easy one now that I think about it. It is indeed Monopoly. Which country consumes the most coffee per person? Excuse my stomach, I'm so sorry. Which country consumes the most coffee per person? I would never have guessed this. The answer is Finland. I wonder why. Let me know in the comments if you know why. Which planet has the most moons currently confirmed? Which planet has the most moons currently confirmed? Saturn. I love this next question. What is the national animal of Scotland, the country I'm from? What is the national animal of Scotland? The national animal is, and I'm sorry, it's the unicorn. Don't ask me why. It is. separated East and West Berlin? Which famous wall once separated, I should say, East and West Berlin? The Berlin Wall. You probably could have guessed that if you didn't know, but very well known. What is the rarest blood type? What is the rarest blood type? Now, I actually think the answer to this is wrong on this website because, yes, it is wrong. So I'll accept two answers for this. What is the rarest blood type? This website says AB negative. AB negative, AB negative, AB negative, AB negative. But actually, the rarest is called Renault, RHNULL, which is often called golden blood. Which is very, very rare. Apparently, only 50 people in the world have that blood type. So, yeah, AB negative or golden blood, as it's called or nicknamed. I would have accepted either. Question 43, a good classic pop question. Which country gave the Statue of Liberty to the United States? Good pop quiz question. I feel like it comes up almost every quiz I do. It is France. Interesting one here. What does CPU stand for? What does CPU stand for in computers and electronics? It stands for Central Processing Unit. It's the processor, so maybe some of you got that. Question 45. Which bird is often associated with delivering babies in folklore? Which bird is often associated with delivering babies in folklore? Stork. Are you a Marvel fan? Because question 46 is which actor played Iron Man in the Marvel universe? Which actor played Iron Man in the Marvel universe? I've not seen many Marvel movies, but I know this one. It is Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. Alright, question 47. Which desert is the largest hot desert in the world? Which desert is the largest hot desert in the world? Gotta be specific here. The answer is the Sahara Desert. Oh, I could never have guessed this next one. What color jersey is awarded to the Tour de France leader? What color jersey is awarded to the Tour de France leader? Yellow. Question 49 is, which nut is used to make marzipan? Which nut is used to make marzipan? famous composer became deaf later in life? Which famous composer became deaf later in life? Ludwig van Beethoven, or just Beethoven. Beethoven. Which city is known as the City of Canals? Which city is known as the City of Canals? Again, perhaps a pretty easy one. It is Venice. Question 52. What is the fastest land animal? What is the fastest land animal? I never know what to do with my hands in these videos. Because I'm not holding my phone for once. I'm looking at my MacBook, so I'm just kind of like a floating body. Anyways, the fastest land animal is a cheetah. Who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean? Who was the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic Ocean? I'll give you your answer in 5, 4, 3, 2. Amelia Earhart. Question 54. Which language has the most native speakers worldwide? Which language has the most native speakers worldwide? That would be Chinese Mandarin. Question 55. This is a fun one, another sort of fun fact. Which metal is liquid at room temperature? Which metal is liquid at room temperature? Mercury. What is the official currency of Switzerland? Ooh, interesting one here. Can you figure it out? It is the Swiss franc. Again, if you said franc, I'll allow it. I think a lot of people might have said euro though, because it's in Europe. Question 57. Which TV sitcom is set in the fictional town of Bonnie? Hope I'm saying that right. Bonnie. Bawnnee. Which TV sitcom is set in the fictional town of Bonnie? Parks and Recreation. I've never seen Parks and Rec. I think I've maybe seen like 2 episodes, but not like properly watched it. How many bones does an adult human typically have? How many bones does an adult human typically have? 206. is the name of the fairy in Peter Pan? What is the name of the fairy in Peter Pan? Tinkerbell. Which country is famous for inventing paper? I feel like I did know this, but my brain is like, maybe I didn't. Which country is famous for inventing paper? China. Makes sense though. Which sea creature? Oh my gosh, this is so easy. Which sea creature? Do you know what? I'm gonna change it. Which sea creature does the male carry the babies? The original one was which sea creature has 8 arms, but I'm changing it, that doesn't count. Which sea creature does the male carry the baby? And the answer is a seahorse. Google it, it's pretty cute. Which famous building leans in Italy? That's another easy one. Which famous building leans in Italy? The Leaning Tower of Pisa. I want to go see it someday. Question 64. Who discovered penicillin? I believe he was Scottish, wasn't he? I mean, it could be a he, I don't know. Maybe English. No, he was Scottish. Who discovered penicillin? The answer is Alexander Fleming, who was Scottish. What is the capital of New Zealand? Wellington. Sorry, my brain was just like, which question did I just read? Because I got confused, I like zoned out for a couple seconds. Wellington is the capital of New Zealand. Question 66. Which food is traditionally wrapped in seaweed? Which food is traditionally wrapped in seaweed? Sushi. Question 67. Who wrote The Great Gatsby? Who wrote The Great Gatsby? It was written by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Question 68. Which country has the most active volcanoes? Give you the answer in 4, 3, 2, 1. Indonesia. In tennis, what is the term for a was tough, so I will be very surprised if you got that. Anyways, moving on to question 71. Which bird is the international symbol of peace? Peace, peace, peace. Which bird is the international symbol of peace? It is the dove. 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 Now, this next question I'm actually going to Google. Because I think there's more than one answer. So the question I'm rewording is, name a country that is in both Europe and Asia. Name a country that is in both Europe and Asia. If you said Russia, Turkey, Kazakhstan, Georgia, or Azerbaijan, you get a point. I feel like a couple are a little bit, picky, like Azerbaijan, I would say is very, also not on the list that I feel like should be, is Armenia. Is Armenia not? I don't know. I guess it doesn't count. It's not on. Yeah. Oh wow. Asia and Europe. Yeah, the only ones. Azerbaijan, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Russia, and Turkey. It doesn't count. That's really interesting. Anyways, back to the quiz. Sorry about that little tangent there. What color are emeralds? They are green. Who composed the 4 seasons? Who composed the 4 seasons? Antonio Vivaldi, or if you just said Vivaldi, you get that as well. Antonio Vivaldi. Question 75. What is the largest species of shark? What is the largest species of shark? And no, it's not Megalodon. Currently alive. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Anyways, the answer is a whale shark. Hence the name whale shark. Which movie won the first Academy Award for Best Picture? I've never heard of this movie. Which movie won the first ever Academy Award for Best Picture? Picture. Wing. I'm gonna reword this next question once again because it's probably way too easy. In what year was the first iPhone released? Now I'm gonna check because I don't want to get it wrong. In what year did the first iPhone release? It was released in 2007. This one I feel like is way too difficult, so I'm going to try and reword it to make it slightly easier. The famous explorer Roald Amundsen was the first ever person to do what? The famous explorer Roald Amundsen was the first ever person to do what? They were the first person to reach the South Pole. What is the only continent with no native reptiles? What is the only continent with no native reptiles? Antarctica. Who would have guessed? Okay, this next question is kind of a repeat question, so I'm going to reword it. Come up with a new one, really. Let's go with, what is the British equivalent of the game Clue? What is the name of the British equivalent of the game Clue? The answer is Cluedo. Cluedo, Cluedo. The original question that it has here is another Monopoly question. Which famous museum, this is question 82, which famous museum is home to the Mona Lisa? Which famous museum is home to the Mona Lisa? The answer, the Louvre. Which gas makes up roughly 78% of Earth's atmosphere? Which gas makes up roughly 78% of Earth's atmosphere? Nitrogen. As of today, which country has the highest population in the world? Let's check if this is up to date. As of today, which country has the highest population in the world? I'm pretty sure it still is. It is. By how much? Oh, it's so close. As of today, the country with the highest population is India, with 1.47 billion. And China is right behind with 1.41 billion. I know it doesn't sound like much, or sound like, I know it sounds like a lot, but it's not that much. To have 60 million between you. That sounds like a lot, but it's actually not that much. 60 million is literally the population of, like, Italy. That's the difference. Question 85. What is the name of the coffee made with espresso and steamed milk topped with foam? Maybe if you're a barista, this is quite easy. What is the name of a coffee made with espresso and steamed milk topped with foam? I don't like coffee, so I probably wouldn't have guessed this. I maybe would have made an educated guess, though. The answer is cappuccino. Cappuccino, 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 cappuccino. Okay, I'm gonna butcher this next question, but which Shakespeare play features the characters Rosencrantz and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I've never read this play, so I apologize. The answer, though, is Hamlet. Which sport uses the term albatross? Ooh, that's an interesting one. Maybe it's easy, I don't know. Which sport uses the term albatross? It is golf. Question 88. What does Wi-Fi stand for? What does Wi-Fi stand for? I'm gonna fact check this. What does Wi-Fi stand for? Yeah. Wi-Fi doesn't stand for anything. A lot of people believe it's an acronym for wireless fidelity, but it's not. That's it. Wi-Fi is a brand name. Anyways, question 89. Another question that I'm gonna reword. Apologies, it's just so obvious, this question. The original question was, what toy was invented by Erno Rubik? It's literally sat behind me, so I'm gonna reword it, and I'm rewording it to, what year did Erno Rubik invent the Rubik's Cube? What year? Erno Rubik invented the Rubik's Cube in 1974. Question number 90. We're on to the last 10 here. Which city is the capital of Canada? Ottawa. What is the largest internal organ in the human body? What is the largest internal organ of the human body? Oh, that suddenly made me aware of all my organs. Oh. The answer is the liver. Which artist created the sculpture David? Which artist created the sculpture David? The answer is Michelangelo. Which country has the longest coastline in the world? Which country has the longest coastline in the world? Which country has the longest coastline in the world? Canada. Question 94 is, what is the brightest planet visible in the night sky? What is the brightest planet visible in the night sky? I mean, you can kind of maybe make an educated guess. I don't know. Venus. Maybe you said Mars, but Venus is the answer. Who was the first human to travel into space? Who was the first human which movie features the famous quote, "Life finds a way"? Maybe it's been a while since I've seen it, I don't know. Anyways, the answer is Jurassic Park. Which famous landmark was originally built as a temporary structure for the 1889 World's Fair? I never knew this. Which famous landmark was originally built as a temporary structure for the 1889 World's Fair? And it's one of the biggest landmarks in the world today. It is the Eiffel Tower. Oh, going back and referencing an older question here. Which citrus fruit is traditionally squeezed into guacamole? Which citrus fruit is traditionally squeezed into guacamole? Lime. And question 99, the second last question. This is a cool one. Which company was originally called Back Rub? As in back rub. Which company was originally called Back Rub? And for those who care, it's Back Rub, all one word, with a capital B and capital R, so there's no space. Would you believe it? It was Google. And finally, question number 100. Which ancient wonder was located in Alexandria, Egypt? Which ancient wonder was located in Alexandria, Egypt? The final answer for the question is the Lighthouse of Alexandria. Or if you had said the Pharaohs of Alexandria, I'd also accept that. Anyways, that is going to do it for our 100 general knowledge questions. So, how did you do? I hope that you did enjoy, and if you did, keep count. Feel free to comment down below how many questions you got right, but if you just use this as a way of relaxing, learning something new maybe, or just having a good time, that also means a lot to me that you are here for it. So, thank you so much for watching. Most importantly, I hope you are maybe asleep or getting sleepy if that was your goal. And if you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe as well if you're not already. Again, I want to just quickly apologize about my stomach throughout this video. I don't know why my lunch has taken over an hour to digest and it still hasn't. Anyways, I'm gonna go and see if I can drink some water to digest it, or have a mint. They say mints help digest food. There you go, there's another fact for you. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the